And I think we're okay now. All right. It's distracting because on my browser it says it's setting up the meeting for YouTube Live, but in the Zoom session it looks like it's already going. So I think we're good. All right.
Okay.
So good morning. Today is Tuesday, October 8th. I'm Christina Dillabo, Director of Communications for the Desert Southwest Conference. And today is a special Tuesday Talks because as we get going, I know there's going to be a few new people to Tuesday Talks, but also, and so if you're watching the recording, welcome if this is your first time. And I am especially excited to introduce Brittany Combs. She is here today from GCFA. She's one of the staff members that works on travel and meeting support, I suppose. And so she's agreed to join us today to tell us about how GCFA can support the local church with your travel and meeting plans. So take it away, Brittany. Thank you.
Hi. Well, like Christina said, I am Brittany. I have been working with GCFA for about 1 year now. I started September of last year, and I'm the Senior Travel and Meeting Manager. GCFA offers a lot of support to different churches and organizations, and travel and meeting planning is my specialty. So essentially, broad topic, we have the opportunity to help you from the initial event meeting planning phase all the way through to travel. And I can share my screen. I've got a little PowerPoint I can walk through. Let's see. Okay. So this, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So, as I was mentioned, we are a full service meeting planning. So, you can start with the pre planning. I would help you source a location for your event, whether you're wanting to host it at a hotel, event venue. If you don't know what city, state you want to host it in, I can help with that location. And then it is also the contracting process. So, I can look through those contracts, make sure we negotiate the proper prices, the concessions, everything for leading up to your event. After pre-planning is like our event registration and our logistics as well. So we do have a registration platform which you can utilize, or if you have your own, but ours, I can essentially build that out for you, put as much or as little information, collect payments, everything is offered there. And then I can assist, with the logistics. So help with your room sets, planning the menus, everything that leads up to that. And then I also offer on-site services. So if you know that you're going to be super busy in the meetings, taking care of your attendees, your VIPs, whoever they may be, I can be there on site as your liaison. So I am working with the hotel, the venues, the transportation to ensure that the rooms are set how we want them, the food is out, if there's any last minute changes, that the guest rooms are, available, ready, clean, check in. So I would be your boots on the pavement person for all things on site. And then I have the post event. So once the event is over, I will get your final bill. I'll review it, make sure that the hotel is charging everything correctly that we asked. No attendees are on the master list that should not be there. And then I send that to you for your final review, and it's already been audited properly. And so, like I said, that's our full service. Now, we do offer a la carte services. And with that, it just means you don't have to do full service. So if you're like, I only need help contracting a hotel, I just need some room blocks. There are too many hotels. I don't know how to get a good rate. I don't know how to do that. I can do that. And that could be the only thing that you need help with. Or if you're like, I just need help with registration and I need you to man my registration, that's an option. So, like I said, you don't have to do the full service of it. You can pick and choose exactly what it is that your church, your conference, organization needs from us. And so the logistical support are several of the things that I mentioned that we assist with. And then we do have a hybrid and virtual meeting planning option. I will say a lot of people are now trying to go into in-person, but we do have this. If you know you're need help with that aspect, we can assist as well. And then the last page is just a few of the events that I've recently supported, the different conferences and organizations from there.
Great. Well, what about for like a local church? Have you had to do any event? Can you give us some examples of what are some events or type of situations that a local church has needed support?
Yeah, so I have not supported one local church specifically. I have done a few different annual conferences. And I do have an event coming up this month that it is an organization that's being hosted at a church. So then I've been working with that church directly on all the setup and the food and beverage. But I've not, for the local churches, I've not had anyone reach out for specific assistance.
Oh, okay. So what about, I'm thinking about some of the events that I've heard of where churches are hosting an event somewhere, not on their own campus. So maybe like at a parade.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be able to help with like if they needed to secure a booth spot and they needed, you know, the booth itself and signage and all that?
Most certainly, yes. So, like I said, the local churches are kind of really similar to, the organization's annual conferences. Any event, meeting, planning assistance, we can assist with. So if you have someone that is, you don't have anyone on your team that is experienced with navigating those items, I can help walk you through that. So, if you are going, to a town over that's having a big event, and whether you're a vendor, you're getting a booth, or you're the one that's hosting it in a separate town, I can help navigate you through that and get the setup. I can work with the decors if you need florals, if you need linens, tables, whatever it may be, vendor wise, transportation, I can assist with that. And then we do have a travel management company that we work with. So if you need help booking flights, you need help booking, rental cars, we work with a travel management company that books that on our behalf, and we get a little bit of discounted rates.
Nice. Okay.
Mhm.
How about I'm remembering back when I worked at a local church, sometimes we needed to do registration for events that we thought, oh, the area is going to be interested and they're going to want to come for this, whatever it was. So let's say it was VBS. That's a perfect example because my church was mostly older people. There were really no kids other than my own there. But yet we would have like 200 kids maybe for VBS. So that was a lot for volunteer receptionists to coordinate with all the calls coming in. Oh, I want to sign up my kid for VBS. How do I do that? And
Mhm.
at that time, we only had like paper registration. So it was either a clipboard or little papers that we tried to hand out and people would register that way. So, what would that look like to help with a local church VBS registration? Like, how much would something like that cost? What would you need?
Yes, so like I said, we have our own registration platform, and you can do about two different options. We do have several conferences and churches that utilize our registration platform, that they just essentially pay a fee to utilize it, and they are skilled. They build their own registration sites, they send it out. And the other option is like the assisted, which is where I would then work with you. I would build that registration site out. I would monitor it. So then you wouldn't have to worry about it. I would have a link and you would just need to send it out to your attendees or, those that are interested in. So the registration, that really depends where you want. If you're wanting assistance in registration build, it starts around $500 per site, and then there is a fee per registration, and it's usually like a $2 fee per registration. And then if you're wanting to be part of our platform where you know you're going to be planning multiple events throughout the year, and you want to learn and do it yourself, I would have to check on what that price is because it's based on what functions in our software you need help with. Because we have several people that are just like, I want basic software. And then others are like, I want the full gamut. I want to be able to create my booths online. I want to be able to host virtual meetings online. So that one is really depends there. But yeah, basic assistance, it's about 500 starting for building the website and then $2 per registration.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any questions for Brittany? Anything else that we need to know, Brittany?
No, I think, just know that we are here to support the General Counsel on Finance and Administration, whether it is meeting planning or anything else you need. Please reach out. We are more than happy to assist our local churches, partners, organizations. And like I said, you don't need to get it all. I usually will send out a proposal which highlights everything, every little thing that I can provide, but you don't have to choose everything. You can just pick and choose the ones that you need.
Great. Well, thank you for joining us, Brittany. I will be sharing your contact information with the follow-up notes after today's meeting and a link to the travel and meeting planning page. I'll share that right now real quick. There we go. Just so people can scroll through it as well if they want to learn more. But yeah, thank you again for joining us. You don't have to stay on. The rest is just local church updates about the Hurricane Helene resources and whatnot. So yeah, that's
Wonderful.
it.
Yeah, well,
Thanks
thank
a
you so
lot.
much for having me, and I hope everyone has a lovely day.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. All right, so let's go on to our next item. Let's see here, Hurricane Helene. Yes, UMC resources. So you'll see this article in tomorrow's conference newsletter that was published by News about, here's all that's been going on. And it has a link on how to help. So you're always welcome to copy and paste this stuff from our conference website into your church news if you want. If you do that, because this is not written by myself or anyone from the conference, be sure to copy this part as well. That's just kind of in place of like official citation of who wrote it and where you got it from. If you just add that at the top, then it's fine. This links to the article on the News website. So here's some resources that you, the communicator, will want to know about. So besides the newsletter article that you can copy and paste, you can also use this article. So this is actually more for the communication liaison person. So liaison, if you could share this link with your pastor, your worship team, in case this is something that you all want to show during worship. This is a 43-second video that talks about what's been going on, UMC support, and then share this with your church admin, your whoever it is that creates the bulletin inserts. That's what this one is. I did already provide the links to these two items in your invitation, so you've got it. If you have any problems with downloading either one of these items, let me know, and I'll work on that with you. Questions about that? Okay. And there was some stuff also on social media that I shared from News, so you can also do that as well. Okay, next item is about disaster response training. So we had a course for this weekend. That one was canceled because we didn't have enough enrollment for it. So those of you that are in Nevada, there's training coming up on November 16th. You'll be seeing more information about this. I did include the link to this in the notes, and I will do that in my follow-up notes as well. Questions about that hurricane training? Sorry, not hurricane training, disaster response training. Sorry. Okay. Next item. Some of these I have touched on before, but I'm going over them again because, as I said earlier, I know some people that are joining us today or that will be watching the recording will be doing that for the first time. So I want to make sure that they have access to this. So the event for this webinar, Guide 1 webinar, is sorry, the date for this webinar is the 15th. So you still have time to share this. I would recommend sharing it with your trustees. This webinar is all about getting your church property ready for winter. Although not all of our areas will go to freezing, it's not like we're in Minnesota or anything. There are some things that you can do to prepare your church property to make sure that you don't have any busted pipes, which can happen as soon as we're in what, 32, 34 degrees. It is a possibility. Okay, so that would be anywhere. Okay, next item is the upcoming webinar for Cybersecurity Month. That's the very next day, October 16th. I would share this. Really, this one could be shared with anybody from your church. Anybody can fall victim to cybersecurity scam, to a malicious email, any of that stuff. So October is Cybersecurity Month. This would be pretty decent content for you to share. And if you've already published your once a month newsletter, you could share this on social media. And just make a note of it for next year that, hey, October Cybersecurity Month. If I haven't already shared something with you in September about what resources are going to be available, be sure to email me and ask me, hey, I want to include something in my newsletter. Not that you have to, but that's just an idea, right? So, and that's part of how this stuff works. So I'm sharing content that you can use at the local church. That either if you're the communicator that you can put into your newsletter, share on your social media, or if you're the liaison, that you can take this information and give it to the right person at your church that needs it to be able to do whatever ministry that they're involved in. Okay, next one is the labor law compliance webinar that passed a while back ago. The recording is still available. There's great Q&A or FAQs available that you can just open up and get the answers right then and there. So I'm sharing this again because not every one of our churches has responded yet to let us know if they need any assistance to make sure that they're in compliance with the new labor laws, which are effective July 1st, but then there's additional things that as of January 1st, like you have to have everything in place. So we've got this survey where you can fill it out and let us know if, maybe you watched the webinar, maybe you didn't watch the webinar, but for sure, I could use some help. I'm not sure about what exactly we need to be doing here. Fill this out and we'll have you on the list. It's the GCFA's personnel or human resources person, Caitlin Congdon, gets a copy of who has responded to this. Our personnel committee gets to see who from our churches has responded, who needs help. And then what they're going to do with the information is those churches that have asked for help, they're going to reach out to them. And I don't know if it's going to be like one training for everybody, or is it going to be one-on-one help, or a combination of the two. But the sooner, the better to fill this out, because they are making plans, trying to figure out, do we need to have a training, a webinar, or what do we need to do? Okay, and those of you that have filled it out, thank you so much for taking care of that already. Okay, last item is just a quick reminder one more time about getting your church news into the conference news or district news. How to do that, who does it reach, what are your options if it doesn't get into church or into district or conference, district or conference news. So right here, this is our conference website, dscumc.org. If you hover over contact, there's the communications request form. Clicking on that, you'll be able to see an online form that sends notifications to all kinds of people, conference staff, and some of our conference committees. But if you selected, let's say you wanted to under the work request section, here's where you have all the different ideas or options for what you want to have done. Maybe you're just suggesting a story because your church is doing something unique and it's coming up in a couple months and you want to have some publicity about it. Or maybe something that already happened that was amazing. Your church got an award. Your campus is now um, fully accessible. Whatever it is, something that our audience is other church leaders. So what we're trying to do with the conference newsletter is get good news information out there about churches, about the ministries that we're involved in, so that other churches can get ideas of, hey, I could do that. I think our campus could, whatever. Or maybe it's something you were already planning on doing but didn't know how to do it. Well, one church shares their story and here's how we did it, or here's the roadblock that we overcame. Now you just helped out another church to be able to figure out how to do the same type of thing. So it's kind of churches helping churches while getting the good news out there about the amazing ministry of the Desert Southwest Conference. So that one I would suggest using, and then you can always, depending on what you select, different fields will populate here. If you, so see that particular one has the story title written by, and here's the story description. You could instead write it up in a document and upload the file if you want. Anything else that you want to tell us? I would love for this to be included in the South District newsletter or whatever else you put that there. And that's it, you submit it. So super easy. Then, so as I said, the audience for our conference news, our district newsletters, it's other churches. So if your item is something about, like I know we will have a trunk or treat news item coming out soon. A lot of our churches have trunk or treat, but this particular one is one of our new communities. It's Pacifica. And so it's exciting to hear about what the new ministries in the Desert Southwest Conference are doing. So we did go ahead and include that. But let's say that every single one of our churches already has a trunk or treat event happening. So it's not super unique. We probably wouldn't be able to include it in the district or conference newsletters because if every church is having the same event and it's on a holiday, then why would members not go to their own church's event and just go to your church's event? So it doesn't make sense. So how would you get your information out there? I have shared before that we do have media lists. Here it is. And this is where they're available. I said I would send them, and then I got super busy, and I was on vacation last week. And anyway, I haven't sent it to the people that did request it. So I wanted to show you this is where they're available. And yes, they're from 2021, but I don't have a new one right now. And I am supposed to get a new couple lists this year. Yes, this year, because I just touched base with United Methodist News Service to get those new lists. But in the meantime, you do have these. And I've noticed that when I use these lists, I get some bounce back emails letting me know that, oh, this person no longer works at AZ Central News Station. Please contact this person instead. So you'll be able to send to the different news channels. So I highly recommend check out those two lists, and this is available on the dseumc.org/communications page. I'm going to go back to the homepage so you can see quickly. If you went to dseumc.org and scroll down here to where all of the conference committees are listed, all you have to do is click on the Communication Commission link, and that'll bring you to this page. And from here, you just scroll down to the resources section. And this is where the downloadable items are, which is the media list. All right, questions about that? Wait, let me stop sharing real quick. Questions about anything that I've shared today? All right. Well, does anybody have any news to share from their church? Anything coming up? Anything exciting? All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me today. Next week's Tuesday Talks is going to feature another GCFA staffer, That one's going to be Sharon Asmus. I think she's the executive director of the information technology department at GCFA. And so it's her department that's hosting that Cybersecurity Month webinar. Um, and in case you didn't know, GCFA does provide a help desk or IT support. That's who we contract with for the conference IT support. And that's something that churches could do as well. And there's all kinds of different levels of how much support you need and how you're going to pay for it and all that. So you could always talk to them about it. But start thinking now about what questions you might have for Sharon from GCFA with IT support. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your week.
Hey, Christina,
Oh, yeah.
can you help me for me to can I get on my own, I guess, Zoom account so that I'm not under just the church one all the time?
Yeah, great question. I'm going to share I will help you directly, George, but I'm
Okay.
going to also show where that is. So a shortcut would be dscumc.org/Zoom,
Okay.
but that's really going to take you down to this page and then all the way down to the bottom where the Zoom license purchase or renewal form is. It's $120 per license for the calendar year. So we're in October, it's still going to be $120, and that will be ending at the end of the year. Then in January, that's when I asked churches to fill us out again so that you can pay for the renewal. Not everybody
Okay.
renews, and some churches cancel and then they buy it again at a different time or another year. And churches can have more than one. But January is when the conference owes, like, okay, here's how many licenses we need, and we have to buy them all together to be able to get this pricing. And so that's why we can't offer like a discount because the conference has already paid for it.
Right.
So, we don't get a discount for starting. Well, we can't start it later. We have to contract them all in the beginning. And it's just a complete pass through. We were able to get a pretty decent discount in combination with TechSoup and just working directly with Zoom to
Okay.
get this discount and extend that discount to our churches.
Okay. So, but I know the church has one,
Mhm.
but there's pretty much the church. If there was multiple logins from the church, you'd have to have multiple licenses then, right?
Yes,
Okay. All right.
that's
So
how it
I'll
works.
wait till January.
Okay, righty.
Okay.
Um, what else? I think that's it. And if by chance you happen to have done the Zoom license registration and you didn't get a message from me about how to log in or here's your receipt, let me know because that goes to my communications email box, and I try to keep up with the two, but once in a while I'll miss one. So don't ever be afraid to reach out. All right, thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Have a great rest of your